India just tested an AI-powered machine gun, a robot weapon that can scan a battlefield, identify a target, and pull the trigger, all without waiting for a human. That's not a headline from a cyberpunk novel. It's the real world today. And it raises one very awkward question. Are we building the last generation of human soldiers, or the first generation of killer robots? Militaries love to talk about next-gen warfare, but this one feels less like next-gen and more like skipping several uncomfortable steps straight to Skynet. A gun that thinks faster than you, never blinks, and doesn't get PTSD sounds efficient. But efficiency in war has a bad habit of scaling human suffering, not reducing it. Because here's the paradox. Every time we make killing easier, war doesn't become rarer, it becomes cheaper. And when killing is cheap, nations tend to buy in bulk. So India's AI gun isn't just an Indian story. It's the latest piece in a global arms race, one where algorithms, not generals, are slowly taking command. China is already testing AI swarms of drones. The US has autonomous fighter jet prototypes. And smaller nations are scrambling for any robotic edge they can get, because nobody wants to be the last army still sending humans to a gunfight. If the 20th century was defined by nuclear weapons, the 21st might be defined by autonomous ones. Weapons that don't just extend human power, but replace human decision-making. Which leads to the real question: when war is automated, who or what is actually responsible for the killing? And are we okay with that answer? War has always been a story of tools. The first rock wasn't just a weapon, it was an upgrade package for fists. The bow and arrow turned hunting into remote work. Gunpowder changed battlefields from sweaty duels to mass-produced carnage, and each leap in military tech didn't just change how we fight, it changed who survives. Crossbows let peasants kill knights. Machine guns shredded cavalry charges. Nuclear bombs made entire armies irrelevant. And now AI threatens to make human decision-making optional. India's AI machine gun is a reminder that we're sliding down a slope humanity has been greasing for centuries. Every innovation removes more friction between intention and destruction. Why does this matter? Because friction is what slows us down. When pulling a trigger requires no effort, no risk, no guilt, or waiting for a commander to approve, war becomes disturbingly efficient. And efficiency is not peace. Militaries love AI because it promises three things: speed, accuracy, and deniability. Speed. Algorithms can analyze sensor data, track movement and fire in milliseconds, way faster than any soldier squinting through a scope. Accuracy. At least in theory, AI could hit the right target more often than a nervous human with shaky hands. And deniability. When the robot makes the call, who's to blame if it shoots the wrong person? The coder, the general, or the algorithm itself? This last part is why AI weapons aren't just faster guns. They're a bureaucratic dream. A future general might shrug and say, "The system decided. Nothing we could do." If that sounds cynical, history agrees. When landmines were introduced, militaries defended them as efficient area denial. Today, landmines are banned by international law because they don't stop working after the war ends. Autonomous weapons may be the landmines of tomorrow, but smarter, faster, and with Wi-Fi. India's AI gun in this light is less about India itself and more about inevitability. Because once one country demonstrates a working prototype, others feel pressure to keep up. That's how arms races start. It doesn't matter if the tech is flawed, clunky, or even dangerous to its own operators. What matters is that someone else might get there first. And not falling behind is the most expensive fear in history. This is how we got nuclear weapons stockpiled by the tens of thousands, even though using them means mutual suicide. And it's how we're now sliding toward armies of robots that might one day outnumber soldiers. India's test is not a glitch in the timeline. It's the logical next step in a pattern older than nation-states themselves, the endless hunt for an edge, no matter the cost. And this is where things get uncomfortable, because for the first time, that edge may involve removing humans from the battlefield equation entirely. Which raises the question we'll tackle next. What happens when wars are fought not just with machines, but by machines? What if machines start making battlefield decisions? Let's start with the good news, or at least the sales pitch. Autonomous weapons, in theory, could make war more precise. No tired soldiers, no panic shooting, no friendly fire because someone sneezed. Imagine an AI drone programmed to only target tanks, never civilians. That sounds almost humane, like putting a leash on chaos. But reality has a way of voiding warranty claims, because AI doesn't actually understand anything. It identifies patterns, and war is the opposite of a clean pattern. A child holding a stick might look a lot like a soldier holding a rifle to an algorithm that only sees pixels. A farmer driving a truck could be flagged as an enemy vehicle if the AI has the wrong data set. And once the system fires, there's no pause button for regret. This is where accuracy turns into a cruel joke. AI might miss fewer shots, but when it misses catastrophically. Now layer the logic of an arms race. Once one nation deploys autonomous weapons, others scramble to keep up, not because they want to, but because falling behind is worse. Think of it like two people standing at the edge of a cliff. One says, "If I don't jump, and you do, I lose." So both jump. That's how we get categories of weapons that nobody actually wants, from chemical gas to nukes, but everyone feels forced to stockpile. The paradox of autonomous weapons is their selling point of fewer humans dying. But their side effect may be more wars starting. Because when leaders think war will be fast, cheap and bloodless for their own side, they're more likely to roll the dice, which makes autonomous weapons less of a deterrent and more of a temptation. Now add one more twist: speed. Autonomous systems can act in microseconds. That means in the future, battles could unfold faster than humans can even comprehend. Imagine two AI defense systems facing each other, each one programmed to strike if it detects an attack. If a glitch triggers one system to fire, the other responds instantly. By the time a human commander gets the alert, the war has already escalated. This isn't science fiction. Financial markets already run on algorithms that occasionally crash the system in seconds. Flash crashes, caused by bots reacting to bots. Now imagine a flash war. Except instead of stock prices dropping, missiles are flying. This is why some experts argue autonomous weapons are not just dangerous, they're destabilizing. It's like giving two sleep-deprived toddlers machine guns and hoping they don't overreact to shadows. Supporters counter with the idea of human in the loop. That means the machine can aim and track, but a person has to authorize the final shot. Sounds reassuring until you realize the loop is already shrinking. In practice, humans often just rubber stamp what the AI recommends because ignoring a faster, more confident system feels reckless. So the loop becomes less like a control panel and more like a suggestion box. And eventually, suggestions become commands, which raises the ugliest question in this debate. Who's responsible when an autonomous weapon commits a war crime? Is it the programmer who wrote the code, the general who deployed it, the soldier who pressed confirm, or the black box of machine learning itself? Right now, international law has no clear answer. The Geneva Conventions weren't exactly written with, "Oops, the drone confused a wedding for a training camp" in mind, and attempts to regulate killer robots have stalled. Some countries push for a ban, others resist, arguing, why ban something we haven't even finished inventing? Which is basically the arms race logic in a nutshell. By the time the rules are written, the machines may already be in charge of following them. So where does this leave us? In a world where the line between science fiction and military doctrine is fading, where killer robots aren't just possible, but inevitable, unless nations do something almost unheard of in history, agree to stop building something that gives them power. And that, as history shows, is not exactly our species' strong suit. So, here we are, a species clever enough to build machines that can kill for us, but not wise enough to decide if that's a good idea. The AI machine gun India just tested is not the end of the story. It's the prologue. Because once machines can pull the trigger, the next step is machines deciding why to pull it. Today, algorithms just execute human intent. Tomorrow, they could be weighing strategy, assessing risks, even negotiating peace, or pretending to, while quietly preparing to strike faster than we can blink. That might sound far-fetched, but remember, we already outsource huge chunks of our daily lives to algorithms. They suggest what we buy, who we date, and what news we see. Is it really so hard to imagine a future where they also decide who lives or dies in a battlefield? Here's the real paradox. Autonomous weapons could, in theory, make war safer for humans. No exhausted soldiers making tragic mistakes. No leaders hesitating because of domestic casualties. But safety for some often means danger for others. If one side can fight without bleeding, the other side bleeds more. And that imbalance makes peace harder, not easier. This is the shadow of efficiency. When machines erase the costs of war for those who own them, they make war easier to start and harder to stop. Now let's zoom out a second. For most of history, we thought war was a uniquely human activity. Tribal instincts, politics, greed, ideology, all very human messes. But as machines take over more of the mechanics of killing, it raises an unsettling possibility. Is war slowly becoming less about people and more about systems colliding? A clash of algorithms fighting at machine speed for objectives no soldier ever fully understands. If that sounds abstract, think about this. For decades, peace was maintained not by trust or morality, but by a balance of automated retaliation systems. Machines primed to launch missiles if they detected incoming ones. It worked, sort of, but it also left humanity one false alarm away from extinction. Now imagine that logic multiplied by every AI, drone, tank and gun on the planet, all networked, learning and waiting for the tiniest signal to strike. This isn't just an arms race. It's the automation of human violence itself. So where does that leave us? We could push for international bans, demand meaningful human control, and slow the march toward killer robots. Or we could shrug, say, the other side won't stop, so why should we? And let history play its usual game of escalation. Both futures are possible, and that's why the story of India's AI gun is bigger than India. It's about whether we, as a species, can resist our worst habit, building tools faster than we build wisdom. Because once we let go of the trigger, once machines are the ones making life and death choices, we may never get that control back. So the real question isn't, will AI weapons exist? They already do. The real question is, when the first robot-triggered war begins, will we even realize it's happening before it's over? And if machines are fighting wars for us, what will be left for humans to do? Maybe we'll finally have peace. Or maybe we'll just be spectators, watching history unfold at machine speed, wondering if or when the system will decide it no longer needs us in the loop at all. This is the ThinkBug, where tiny curiosity leads to big insights. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. So tell us, is AI on the battlefield the next step in defense, or the beginning of something we'll regret? Drop your comment below. We're reading them all. Want to go down another one of our rabbit holes? Then watch these videos next.